crochet friends, welcome to my channel. I am Diana and I created this channel as a way for my friends to learn how to crochet. There are tips and tricks and patterns and all sorts of things. We have a good time here on my channel. Today's video is about some of the worst projects that I've ever made and the things that I've learned about them. You may feel like I do. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I like to crochet and have my things look really nice. You know, I have been crocheting for a long time now. And so I recently was looking through my crochet items for items to donate to an auction for our church for the youth program. And as I'm going through my crocheted items, I found a few that have made their way down to the bottom of the bin because, one, they're a little bit embarrassing. Two, for some reason, and it could be I didn't like working with the yarn, I didn't like the pattern, or just I was in a mood that day. Sometimes you just have items that you have created that you just don't love. You don't see the magic. I used to be a professional scrapbooker back when scrapbooking was a popular thing. I worked for one of the biggest companies, create pages that would display their product in whatever way. I was really hard on myself and I would create these elaborate pages and then just not be happy with them. Someone told me once, or put your page down and walk away and come back to it the next day. And sometimes some magic has been sprinkled on there. And most of the time, that was true. For some of the items that I'm going to talk about today, that's true. But for others, that's just not true at all. And you'll see why when I show you. It really does make me laugh when I look at these items. So be kind. Here we go. Item number 1. He still has a tag on him because I did take him to my markets. So item number 1 didn't turn out like I thought he should. He didn't look really great. The pattern didn't come with a mouth, so I added a mouth, and then I'm still not sure. Maybe the eyes needed to be bigger. I'm not sure about this one. Like, it just didn't turn out the way that I thought it should. The thing and the pattern itself called for acrylic yarn, so this is a lot bigger than what it had said. So I think if I would have added bigger eyes on this, I think I would have liked him a little bit better. But the thing that I learned about this item, somebody had asked me to make a crochet item and they didn't pay for it first. So that is maybe one of the reasons why this guy isn't the best. Super cute pattern, and I will link it below. There was nothing wrong with the pattern. I added stuff to make it sort of cute. To me, it doesn't seem, maybe I picked the wrong colors. He's still lurking around. So that's item number 1. If you're selling items, I highly recommend, unless you know the person really well, have them pay for it first. Item number 2. This one gets me every time, is this guy. Okay, I was looking for a different little frog. This one went wrong in the fact that I didn't check to make sure if the safety eyes were the same size. So one is slightly larger than the other. And yes, it's gone to my market and no one's taken it home and loved it. So that's what I learned about this guy. Another really super cute pattern. Just didn't turn out the way that I thought it should. I will link this one below as well. I like his little grumpy face. I think I would like him in a darker yarn. And definitely figure out the eye situation. You know what would be really cute is if you used like frog eyes, you know, like the cat eye ones with the narrow, that might make it a cuter frog. But yeah, so that's item number 2. Okay, I have to say that sometimes I'm a little embarrassed about some of the things. For this one, kind of looks like a peep. He's a little fluffy, but he's meant to stand up this way, and he can't stand up that way because I ran out of yarn. So I have to be really super creative. So he can stand up on his backside like this. The lesson that I learned from this pattern is that you need to make sure that you have enough yarn for your project. I only had one skein of this yarn, and I was looking up a way to use this yarn up. I got it at Walmart. The yarn is by Pioneer Woman, which is cute. I also have it in bright yellow, but I think I have an idea of what to use it for. I might make like a cute monster. But this yarn was really hard to work with because it's super thick. So that was difficult. But other than that, I think he turned out cute. He just looks weird if you like try to set him on the ground. So I'm gonna look for him at home. And maybe the magic dust will be sprinkled and someone will just think this is the best thing ever. Yeah, I don't think it's the best thing ever, but there you go. So I learned, make sure you have enough yarn. Pattern for this one as well. It's a great pattern. I've made another one of these and I will share it right here. This one, I really was going to town. Now, I special ordered these yarns. You can't get these yarns anymore. I still absolutely love them. I love the colors in this blanket. Now, I started this blanket with this stitch right here. And I was realizing I was running out of yarn, and it was really hard to find these and special order these. So I was like, ooh, let's switch directions a little bit and start with a new stitch. And I thought, well, isn't that cute? And this took up a lot less. This yarn is Karen Simply Soft, which is one of my favorites to make blankets with because it's so soft. I thought, okay, I'll start doing this modern granny stitch on it, and it looked really awesome. And then I decided to end it with another interesting stitch. You know, I wasn't really counting because I was getting lazy. That should be your hint. So it's a full-size blanket. It's a full-size blanket. But the thing is, when you lay it on the ground, so it's not even, if you can tell. Like, it's literally right here, you can see it's longer over here and shorter over here. The idea wasn't a good idea. Yeah, no, just no. What I learned from making that blanket, that lesson is count your stitches. Count your stitches. If you're going to combine stitches like I did, just make sure you have the same number count on there. If you find yourself in the predicament that I find myself with the blanket, you can actually frog it. So just pull it out. Yes, I said frog. If you've never heard frogging, that means that you rip it out, okay? And it makes the sound of a frog, which is that's why it's called frogging. Things that I don't even have anymore. Oh my word, it was so bad. It was literally so bad. So I thought when I started making amigurumi that all yarns were equal. I should have been smarter than that, but okay, I was making miniature nativities just like this. Now this pattern that I have that I used is actually in Spanish, and I believe I got it off a YouTube video. So I will attach that as well. I was making a cute little pattern, making them with sport weight yarn. So really fine yarn like this so that they would be small. I didn't realize that sport weight yarn wasn't the same as regular acrylic yarn. So I'd made Mary, and then I made Joseph. So Mary was out of the sport weight yarn, and then I made Joseph out of acrylic yarn. So here's Mary, and then here's Joseph. Like literally it was that big of a difference. Yeah, Joseph got donated, and I was so frustrated because I spent all this time, and I don't know why I wasn't thinking, oh my word, that is not the same size as Mary. Yeah, he went away. Make sure you have the correct yarn for your project. That's a lesson learned. Use the same. If you have a set of something that you are making, make sure that you have the same exact size yarn. When I first started making the Mabel chicken, I didn't have the correct colors that I wanted to make the Mabel chicken in. So I thought, I'm going to use what I have. Let's make an experiment and see what it looks like. First, I made this with wool yarn. This little comb is wool, and then the base of the body is wool. So it turned out really cute. Well, I decided that I was going to put safety eyes on it. Can you see the safety eyes? Like, they didn't work out so well for me. They fell through the hole. In fact, I have another one somewhere. I don't know. But one of the eyes fell inside where the stuffing is because the stitches were too loose and the eyes just, it was not good. So I make the eyes out of yarn. So I don't have to worry about the safety eyes falling inside. So that's what I learned about that. Well, I also learned that, again, I don't know what my brain was thinking, that blanket yarn and chenille yarn are not going to make you the same size chicken. Like, I was using up what I had. I wanted to see what it makes. So if you're going to sell these, you couldn't charge the same amount for both of these chickens, even though it takes you the same amount of time. Lesson learned. If you want something larger, use larger yarn with a larger hook. If you want something smaller, use a smaller hook with smaller yarn. The Premier XL chenille would probably give you about the same size. Okay, when I first started to crochet, I was making things out of cotton yarn because that's what, in the beginning, it was like very, very beginning of amigurumi, and it was before chenille yarn was used or even around, and it was before people were using blanket yarn. You know, people that were using blanket yarn were using it to make blankets. I started making this creation. I got a pattern for Noah and his ark. It's absolutely adorable. I will link it. But I figured out I was following the rule that all of the items were going to be made out of the same yarn. Lion Brand 24/7, which is a thicker yarn. And in the pattern, it calls for Aran yarn. What I found that was close to it, that had really good colors that I could get my hands on without having to special order it, was the Lion Brand 24/7. Made Noah just fine, and I think he is so cool. All right, there's a little plastic thing and he stands up. And then I had to make all of the items to go with him. This is as far as I got. This is the elephant. I only made one elephant. I just got tired of crocheting with the cotton yarn because it was hard. This guy's in my whip box, and this guy is in my finish box. So the lesson that I learned about this is I don't really like working with cotton yarn. I really, really don't. I am going to have to figure out, maybe I will finish making this elephant and the other elephant with this yarn, and then make all the rest of the animals out of maybe a cotton blend, something that is similar in size that I like, and then I think I'll be happier with the project because just cotton yarn is super hard on my hands. So that I got an order from someone that wanted me to make a robot. Now, when I started, people weren't making a lot of patterns. I thought, well, okay, I will try and freehand it. This was the outcome. I tried to make his head as square as possible. So I thought he turned out pretty cute. I keep him around as a reminder. Robbie. I gave him a name, Robbie. So this is out of cotton yarn, and he's really great, except for the fact that he is really not stuffed as well. There's a lot of give to him. So I think if I was to do this over again, I would stuff him more. I like that there's sparkle yarn. I was thinking I was fancy, like a robot would be fancy. I would love to hear about your maybe worst projects. In parentheses, maybe your beginner projects, maybe something that you learned that didn't turn out quite what you thought it would be. I would love to hear about those projects. Please go ahead and leave those in the comments below. Just so you know, we all have to start somewhere. So I'm hoping to find a home for these special little projects that weren't quite what I thought they would be. I am really grateful for each of them because I learned something from them. If you like today's video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel, as this not only helps my channel to grow and to reach other crocheters just like you. Enjoy the bloopers. Yeah. And or I'm okay.